everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English, and I am Karen.
And I'm Mike, and here we are with part 2 of our look at Niall Horan finding his own direction, I should say, after One Direction, because of course he was one of the 5 members of the very famous pop group One Direction, which broke up in 2016.
That's right, and we learned quite a lot about Niall Horan in part 1, right? How he was very talented since a very, very early age, and then he learned how to play the guitar by himself from YouTube.
That's right.
And yeah, what else is there to learn about Niall Horan?
Around the age of 16, he started to perform, entering talent shows, but it was, of course, on The X Factor, the popular British TV show, that he really became famous.
That's right.
Well, not quite famous. They said he wasn't quite ready to be a solo singer, and he entered the contest as a solo singer, or just Niall on his own, but someone at the show, it actually might have been that famous Simon Cowell, the guy from American Idol.
One of the famous judges.
That's right. Put them together with a few other guys. There was a Zayn, there was a Lewis, there was a Liam, there was a Harry, and they became One Direction, and they had much success. 4 world tours, I think.
That's right, with that 4 world tours.
And then they all decided to take a break back in 2016, do some different things, have their own careers, start families. I guess there's always a hope that they'll get back together someday in the future.
Well, I'm sure a lot of fans would love to see that, right?
That could be part of his future plans, but we're going to be finding out much more about Niall's future plans in today's article. So I think we should check it out, because I'm sure it's going to be interesting to hear some news from this talented guy.
Let's go.
After One Direction's breakup, Horan saw this new chapter as an opportunity to find his own voice. One Direction was known for its playful pop tunes that were aimed mostly at teenagers. As a solo artist, however, Horan wanted to explore a more mature sound, with guitar-driven melodies and deeper lyrics.
So today we're looking at part 2 of Niall Horan finding his own direction, and we are going to learn what he has been doing ever since One Direction broke up.
That's right. So let's jump in right at that moment back in 2016. After One Direction's breakup, Horan saw this new chapter as an opportunity to find his own voice. Well, good for him. He didn't sort of wonder and worry about what he would do. No, he grabbed this chance or this opportunity to be the pop star that he always wanted to be. I guess when you're in a group, you do have to maybe, make decisions or go with other people's opinions a little bit more. It's a team effort after all. So an opportunity to do things on your own might be something he really wanted to grab and take hold of. What is an opportunity? It's basically a chance to do something. And the idea with opportunity is also that maybe it's a chance that you won't have forever, right? You might have a short time to be able to do this, so you want to grab that opportunity and not miss the opportunity, because you never know when that opportunity or that chance to do something will come back again, and maybe it won't. So here's a good bit of advice. Don't miss this great opportunity to learn a new skill, because you never know if you'll have that opportunity again in the future.
That's true. So One Direction was known for its playful pop tunes that were aimed mostly at teenagers. And I think a lot of the tune is very, very catchy. So we're looking at this vocabulary word here, tune, and that is a noun. So a tune basically just means like a series of music notes that are put together, and it's easy to remember and pleasant to listen to. So for example, can you please change the radio station? I don't like this tune.
Okay. So a tune can be a melody, like just the main notes of a song. Or in this sentence, we can also kind of use it just as another word for song. I learned a new tune, or I wrote a tune on my guitar. But we can also say da 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 da. That's the tune or the melody for the famous birthday song. We also had the adverb mostly. Mostly is basically 80–90% of the time. All right, if we're talking about something that is there a lot of the time, but not all the time, we would say mostly. For example, the weather here is mostly sunny, but sometimes it rains. So maybe, once a week or once every couple of weeks it rains, but 80–90% of the time it's very sunny weather.
That would be very, very nice. But I think in Taiwan, it's mostly rains, but for the rest of the time, it will be sunny.
That's true, and it's mostly humid, too.
Exactly. Okay, well, let's continue with the article. As a solo artist, however, Horan wanted to explore a more mature sound with guitar-driven melodies and deeper lyrics. So I think right now that he's no longer in the group in One Direction, he's able to do something that he has always wanted to do. Right? So maybe he didn't really want to do all the songs for the teenagers. This is actually the style he wants to go for.
That's right. Harry Styles has done more of a rock thing where he's the singer with a band. And what I've seen of Niall, he seems to be more of what we would call a singer-songwriter. He has the guitar. He might even sit down, write the songs. A bit more like Ed Sheeran kind of style.
Oh, I like Ed Sheeran.
Than sort of a big rock band style like Harry Styles has done. And very different from the sort of dance pop that they were doing in One Direction.
Exactly.
So kind of shows off these different influences and different types of music that all these talented guys like. All right, we'll take a break and then we'll be back with more.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。今天要继续介绍 Niall Horan 这位歌手。在1世代解散后呢，他就把这个新的篇章来视为发展自己音乐风格的机会。因为在过去啊，1世代所唱的歌主要是针对青少年，而且是比较俏皮的流行曲调。那么现在 Horan 他作为一位这种独唱歌手，他就想要探索一种更成熟的声音，然后伴随着以吉他为主的旋律，还有搭配更深刻的歌词。好，看到单字 opportunity， 它表示机会或是时机。我们在讲到抓住机会、把握机会的时候呢 ，Mike 老师他有用到片语 take hold of， 就可以表达抓住或是掌控的意思。再来 tune 它表示歌曲、曲子、曲调或是旋律。我们如果要描述曲子朗朗上口，其实可以用到 catchy 这个形容词 ，catch 后面加上 y，catchy 就是朗朗上口的、动听、容易记住的。再看到 mostly 这个副词表示多半、大多或是主要的。好，那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看这个重点是 see as 名词或形容词，表示将什么视为什么什么。那么 see 在这边是表达说认为、把什么看作，你也可以用 view、regard 或者是 think of 等等的其他动词来替换。举例来说 ，She thinks of Greg as a good friend. She sees him as trustworthy. 她把 Greg 视为好朋友，认为他值得信赖。好，接着回到课文中。
On October 20th, 2017, he released Flicker, his first solo album, which reached #1 in the US, Canada, and his native Ireland. Listeners praised its maturity and musical style, as well as the folk influences that seemed to suit Horan's naturally grainy voice perfectly. 3 years later, in 2020, Horan released his second album, Heartbreak Weather. Most reviewers agreed that the energetic love songs on this album made it even better than Horan's first. His third album, The Show, was released in June 2023, and Horan says it shows off a more thoughtful side of himself. Now, Niall Horan is no longer just one of the band. He is a powerful solo talent who is firmly set on following his own unique direction.
All right, we are back with Niall Horan. We were just talking about his solo career in which he was now able, since he's outside of One Direction, to play the music he really wanted to play. And he kind of developed a bit of a singer-songwriter style, a bit more like Ed Sheeran, and quite different from the dancey pop music he was doing with One Direction. So what was his first big solo success?
Well, let me tell you. On October 20th, 2017, he released Flicker, his first solo album, which reached #1 in the US, Canada, and his native Ireland. Yay!
That's pretty
Good
impressive.
job. Listeners praised its maturity and musical style, as well as the folk influences that seemed to suit Horan's naturally grainy voice perfectly. So you're talking about his voice, naturally grainy voice. It's kind of like, hoarseness, like when you've been screaming or shouting or yelling, and then you might sound like this. Or we might call it raspy, right?
Raspy, yeah, and it sounds a little bit more authentic and a little less sort of professional and polished. And when you're doing that style of music, it actually is a good match. If you had an opera singer singing those styles of songs,
then that wouldn't really work.
That would sound a little weird. So
That's
having
right.
a grainy voice and doing that kind of folk music was perfect. Also impressive, he released this album just a year after One Direction broke up, which makes me think he had probably been writing these songs for a long time.
He's been waiting for this opportunity probably for a very long time,
There you
right?
go. He kept those songs in his pocket and was finally able to release them to the world. And apparently it was a big success, at least #1 in a couple of different countries. And then I'm sure a tour followed, and 3 years later, in 2020, Horan released his second album, Heartbreak Weather. Most reviewers agreed that the energetic love songs on this album made it even better than Horan's first. So that's great. He's developing, he's growing as a singer-songwriter. Unfortunately, he released it in 2020. So with COVID, I'm imagining he didn't tour on this album because, of course, everyone was staying home. But yes, if you're energetic, that means you have a lot of energy. You're full of life, you're full of vim, you're full of pep. Maybe you had a good sleep that night, you've been eating your vitamins and, having a good diet, but it basically means you're full of energy, you're full of life, you're full of activity, you're not bored or tired or sleepy. For an older person, Noelle is really energetic. She's 89 years old and she climbs mountains every weekend.
And goes dancing too in the park.
I'd love to be like that when I'm that age.
Me too. You gotta stay active, right?
That would be good.
Okay, so his third album, The Show, was released in June 2023.
Whoa.
And Horan says it shows off a more thoughtful side of himself. So I guess every album that he has is totally different. It talks about different sides. He wants people to really get to know who he really is.
That's true. And I think a lot of artists, after the big COVID break, when everyone was staying home, a lot of them did write more personal stuff. They had
True.
more time to be alone, more time with their family and friends and things like that. So that's an interesting thing, as you say, an interesting way to see a different side of an artist. Now, Niall Horan is no longer just one of the band. No, he's no longer just a One Directioner. Was that the name of them? A One Directioner? Now he's just Niall on his own. He is a powerful solo talent who is firmly set on following his own unique direction.
That's right. So unique is a word we're looking at, and that is an adjective. If you describe someone or something as unique, you're talking about it like it's something very special and very great, very different from others, but usually in a really, really positive and great way. So for example, she has a unique style of painting that makes her stand out from other artists. So when you look at her painting, you know that this is from this artist, right?
Oh, okay, maybe like Frida Kahlo, the famous Mexican artist.
That's
you see one of her
right.
paintings and you know that must be a Kahlo because it's so unique. All right, our what do you think question. Here's a question for you and you guys out there as well. Have you ever had a big change in your life like when Niall Horan did when One Direction broke up? That was certainly a big change in his life. How did you feel and what did you learn from the experience?
Well, I think a really, really big change that I went through was moving back to Taiwan in my early 20s because that was the first time leaving my family. And so it was actually really, really scary at the beginning and I was really sad and homesick as well. So it took me like a long time to, get used to the change. But eventually, I became a lot more independent because
sure.
I could even do my own laundry.
Wow.
Because my mom did everything for me. So.
That's a big change, just that.
Exactly. So I had to learn a lot of things on my own, but I'm really thankful for that experience.
There you
How
go.
about you?
Well, definitely I've had some big changes moving here, going off to school on my own when I was a kid. Big changes can be scary, whether it's
right.
leaving home, leaving your band, getting a new job, or traveling traveling around the world, but they're also great ways to develop and grow as people. So be strong, be brave, seize the day, and take on challenges and change. It's an interesting part of life. Thanks for joining us, guys. We look forward to seeing you back here sometime soon. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and bye-bye.
See you next time.
Can I sing like Niall now?
Okay.
Niall Horan 在2017年发行的第一张专辑，有在美国、加拿大还有他的家乡爱尔兰登上榜首。听众们赞赏他的成熟度，还有音乐风格以及民谣的影响，感觉很适合他那种天生沙哑的嗓音。好，文中他用到补充单字 grainy 是形容粗糙的、有颗粒的。那用来形容声音或是音乐的时候，就是表达粗犷的或是沙哑的。补充一下。Hoarse 这个字 H-O-A-R-S-E， 那它可以形容嘶哑的、沙哑的，但这多半是在描述因为喉咙痛感冒等等而导致声音沙哑。好，那它的名词是在后面加上 ness 变成 hoarseness， 那就可以表达嘶哑。老师们还有用到 raspy。raspy 可以形容沙哑的、刺耳的，还有描述到这种声音听起来蛮真实的。那老师用到 authentic，authentic 就是真实的、真正的。好，课文接着写到说，3年后呢 ，Horan 他发行了第2张专辑，大多数的评论家也认为说，这张专辑里面充满活力的情歌，甚至让它比第1张专辑更好。那么今年推出了第3张专辑，则展示出他更深思熟虑的一面。现在 Niall Horan 他不再只是1世代的团员之一了。他本身就是一位实力坚强的独唱艺人，坚定地朝着自己独特的方向前进。好，单字 energetic， 它是形容词，形容充满活力的、精力充沛的。Mike 老师在解释时，他有用到这个 vim 和 pep 来表达精力、活力或是热情。那么 vim 是拼作 V-I-M。Pep 是拼作 P-E-P。好，再看到 unique， 它是形容独特的、独一无二的。那这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 show off 的意思及用法。好，第一个呢，我们可以用 show off 当及物用去表达展现、展示。那它的用法就是 show off somebody or something， 或者是也可以用 show somebody off、show something off。举例来说 ，The singer showed off her engagement ring on the red carpet。那位歌手在红毯上展示了他的订婚戒指。那第二个，我们可以用 show off 当不及物用去表达炫耀、卖弄，这通常会带有贬义。举例来说 ，Jake is always trying to show off in front of his friends。Jake 总是试着在他朋友面前卖弄炫耀。那第二重点是 be set on 加上名词或动名词，表示下定决心做某事。set 在这边是当形容词，是指坚决的、下定决心的。例如 He has been set on becoming an actor since he was a child。他从小就下定决心要成为一名演员。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
After One Direction's breakup, Horan saw this new chapter as an opportunity to find his own voice. One Direction was known for its playful pop tunes that were aimed mostly at teenagers. As a solo artist, however, Horan wanted to explore a more mature sound, with guitar-driven melodies and deeper lyrics. On October 20th, 2017, he released Flicker, his first solo album, which reached #1 in the US, Canada, and his native Ireland. Listeners praised its maturity and musical style, as well as the folk influences that seemed to suit Horan's naturally grainy voice perfectly. 3 years later, in 2020, Horan released his second album, Heartbreak Weather. Most reviewers agreed that the energetic love songs on this album made it even better than Horan's first. His third album, The Show, was released in June 2023, and Horan says it shows off a more thoughtful side of himself. Now, Niall Horan is no longer just one of the band. He is a powerful solo talent who is firmly set on following his own unique direction.
Today, we're going to learn about something very interesting and different. I'm sure a lot of you have seen sculptures before, right? But today we're going to look at monkey sculptures. You're going to see a lot of them in Chiayi, and we're going to learn a lot of history and some interesting stories behind them today. So let's take a look.
嘉义这个地方，从70几年前有一位詹荣老先生，他从开始打石雕，然后后来一群人跟着他打石雕，一直到现在。 这个地方形成一个打石头的一个文化那种风气，所以到了嘉义之后，我就入境随时跟着大家一起打石猴。
The stone monkey sculptures of Chiayi are just one of the city's many features. People have been creating stone monkey sculptures in Chiayi for more than 60 years. Over the past 60 years, many stone monkey sculptors have given their all to keep the tradition alive. Jean Long grew up on Wenchang Street, was originally a tombstone carver and then became the influential pioneer of stone monkey carving. One day, he found himself captivated by a herd of Formosan rock macaques in the mountains. At the age of 43, he decided to devote himself to stone carving. The Bashang River and Chilon River are filled with fossils. These fossils are durable, firm, and contain beautiful shades of color. For many stone monkey sculptors like Jean Long, these fossils are perfect for carving.
我对2006熟悉一个吴老师，伊咧刻石猴。对时阵了，像我平常咧走，我拢走无线的嘛。走无线的时阵，我就利用迄个时间，就赶快去买迄种工具，就叫迄个老师介绍我去倒买，用啥物工具，我就放在车顶。 就摸一粒较细粒的石头。其实迄时拄啊开始咧拍吼，掠到无迄个诀窍。可能就是讲，因为就是讲，阮进前有迄个建筑的透视图吼，本身有对迄3D 流较有概念。豆摸索了，就愈拍就愈有迄个有模有样，就感觉愈拍愈兴趣。就对迄个时间就一直算甲。 就参加迄个石雕协会，对2007甲参加。
Many people were inspired by Jean Long to begin stone monkey carving. But what is most admirable is that these artists never received formal training. They honed their skills through self-exploration and ideological exchange. They turned plain stones and fossils into one-of-a-kind pieces of art. These stone monkey carvings showcase the artist's wit and charm.
其实我发现，我们这个地方是偏向于一种传统的树莲的一种石火雕刻。那么基本上传统树莲这个没有关系，但是所有的水平要再继续让它往上提升。所以在这边我们也做了文化传承，也就是教导学生开班授课，然后让学生从基础的骨架开始，然后到他们可以随心所欲的由内心的感情去转换出一件作品来。 那透过这些训练，让整个嘉义地区的一些石火雕刻，整个水平能够慢慢带上来。那么过程里面，我们必须要一点一滴的提升。那这个没有办法马上很快，但是还是要做。
Stone monkey carving takes much time and energy. Being a stone monkey sculptor requires a great deal of attention to detail and patience. These works are original, rustic, unique, creative, and beautiful. This is the most precious and inspiring aspect of Chiayi's stone monkey art.
I hope you guys had fun learning about the monkey sculptures and the famous monkey sculptor. So next time, if you have time to swing by Chiayi, don't forget to check them out. And this is all the time we have for today, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.